Okay, guys, sorry about that. I will rework number 3 here. I did some math wrong. I wasn't thinking correctly, and so we're going to start this over. Okay, so we're looking at a picture, which is 8 by 10. And on the edge of this picture is a little bit of a mat. This mat is 3/4 on every side. So earlier what I did was I just wrote 3/4 on each side. But excuse me, that was 3/4 here and 3/4 here. So I had the 10 and I just added 1/3 to it, but that's not the correct thing. I just wasn't thinking. And so I have to add 3/4 here and 3/4 here. Plus with the 8, which is only right here, I have to add 3/4 here and 3/4 here. So when I add 3/4 plus 3/4, I get 6/4, which means that the frame adds an extra 1 and 1/2 inches, because that would be 1 and 2/4, which is 1 and 1/2. So because this is 8 and this is 3/4 plus this is 3/4. So really the top of my new dimension, if I'm looking at the whole mat, is 8 plus 1 and 1/2. So now it's 9 and 1/2. Then going this way, doing the width, I have 10 plus 3/4 here and plus 3/4 here. So 10 plus 1 and 1/2 gives me 11 and 1/2. So those are my new measurements. So when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to break it out and use the distributive method. So I'm going to say 9 times 11 plus 9 times 1/2. When I do that, I get 99 plus 9/2. 2 goes into 9 4 times. So I get 99 plus 4 and 1/2, which is 99 100. That gives me 103 and a half. But I'm not done. I need to multiply by 1/2 now. So I'm going to distribute 1/2 times 11 plus 1/2 times 1/2. So here I get 11, extend my page here, I get 11 halves plus 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4. All right, now I'm adding, so I have to have like denominators. This is a 4, so I'm going to leave that and I'm going to change this one into a 4. I'm going to change it into a 4 by multiplying it 2 times 2. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 11 times 2 equals 22. So now I have 22 plus 1, that is 23 over 4. So 4 goes into 23 5 whole times. That gives me 20, so that means there's 3 left over. So let's see. So I have 103 and 1/2 plus 5 3/4. So what I'm doing right now is I'm finding the entire area of this whole mat. And then I'll take away the picture. So 5 3/4. So first things first, my fractions don't have the same denominator. I'm going to change it to a 4 again. 2 times 2 equals 4. 1 times 2 equals 2. So that gives me 2 plus 3 equals 5/4. Then I have 103 plus 5. Well, that's 108. But I still cannot leave this 5/4 that way. So I have 108 wholes plus 4 goes into 5 one time with 1 left over. So that gives me 109 1/4. So that's the whole picture and the mat around it. That's the area. Now I'm going to subtract the picture. So if I come back up here and I look, the picture is an 8 by 10. So that's just 80. So if I take 109 1/4 and I take away 80, well, 1/4 take away 0 is still 1/4. 9 take away 0 equals 9. 10 take away 8 equals 29. 2, I'm sorry. So my answer is 29 1/4 inches squared. So let's see if that makes sense. Find the area of the mat not covered by the picture. So that would be the area of this rectangle, this rectangle, this rectangle, and this rectangle. So if the whole area of the inside's 80, and this is going to be a lot smaller than that, it makes sense to me that this would be my answer. So, sorry I messed up on that. I was just thinking about adding 3/4 on that side and just finding the area that way. I got moving too quick, which happens a lot of times when you are trying to rush. So, let this be an important lesson. That's always, oh, sorry, I'm yawning because I'm still tired. It's always a smart choice to make sure you're following those steps of when I got that 1050 on the first video that I did, I knew that there was no way that was right, but I couldn't look at my own work and figure out what I did. So I had to go back and I had to start over and I realized what I had done. So if I was not being a good mathematician, I would have taught you wrong on that one. I had to slow down and think that my answer was not reasonable. So there was a good lesson to be learned in this. So tomorrow, you are going to work again on finding some more of the areas. They're going to give you the measurements, and you're going to work it the distributive method if you'd like, or the finding the improper fractions as we've been doing. And then we're also going to work on putting some shapes together so that we get the whole volume. So kind of back to that idea of the puzzles like we had earlier. So if you want to work some problem sets tonight, go ahead. When we come in tomorrow, we will work the lesson 13 homework. So you guys have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.